Hi, I'm Sam. I'm the armorer here at Black Flag Armory. And today we're going to go over mounting a scope, including your rings, your base, getting everything level, and ready for that big game hunting season. Okay, so we've already got our rifle, which is a Howa 1500 mounted in the vise. It's secure, it's not going anywhere. You don't need to mount it super tight. You just grab that gun so it won't move. We got our base here. So we'll go ahead and pull the bases out of the package. The rings are already pulled out, they're Vortex rings. We're mounting a Vortex Strike Eagle on there. Pull your hardware out. Just like so. This particular setup comes with a level. It just snaps into place, just like that. Easy peasy. Level goes to the back typically. In some rifles, you're gonna have plug screws inside your action. This one doesn't, thankfully. So what we'll do is we'll just get our screws all lined up here. Figure out the right bit. You always want to double check and make sure that your rail is going to fit your application. Typically you purchase them, you order them that way when you get a rifle and you're getting ready to mount a scope on it. Just search for that rifle and you should find Picatinny rails and other kinds of mounts. So you always want to make sure that everything lines up. Take a quick peek down in there. The holes are lined up, or at least really, really close. And then get your screws all ready. And then you want to dab a Loctite on each one of these guys. Use blue, don't use red, don't use Vibratite, don't use any of that stuff. Use blue Loctite. Just a little bit. Get one started. Don't snug it down. You want to get all your screws started before you snug screws down. Otherwise, you might end up with a screw that you can't get in the hole. Okay, once you got all your screws started, go ahead and snug them down before we torque them. That way you seat the rail. And you can eyeball down in there and make sure that you don't have any weird gaps or there's no weird torsional movement or anything like that. Then grab your torque limiter. Typically these go anywhere from 25 to 35 inch-pounds. So go ahead and torque these guys down. Don't torque them down rear then front or front then rear. Torque them down in an opposite pattern. That way you get good even torque applied between the rail and the action. Okay, they're all torqued down, they're all double checked, and that's mounting a rail. Next, we're gonna go ahead and get these rings set up. So again, figure out which bits you're gonna want. These Vortex rings run a T25. these big vortex rings. Go ahead and pull your base mounts out a little bit. Throw those rings right up on the rail. Snug that down. It used to be that you had to lap your rings to get true zero, but that was back before modern technology, CNC technology. These rings are always going to be pretty concentric, especially the more expensive equipment you buy, you get tolerances that are tighter and tighter. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pull the scope out of the box. And then we're just gonna look and see about where we're at. Rings look good. It looks pretty close to a good eye relief. And then you always want to double check and make sure that your scope bell is not gonna impact your barrel at all. So you just hold that guy in line like that and you can see daylight between the scope and the barrel. You're good to go. Take your screws out. Good rule of thumb and a good practice to get in the habit of is indexing your parts, especially rings, when you take them off. So here I've got back ring, front ring. So this guy I'm gonna put to the left, further towards the back, and then once we get this guy off, we'll put him further towards the right to the front, because these rings are machined together. The holes in them are. So you want to make sure they stay paired. Here's the back guy. So then just grab your scope, throw them up in there loose, get rid of that paper. Throw your scope up in there kind of loose. You shouldn't have a whole lot of wiggle back and forth. It should sit in there pretty nice. And then you just want to double check and make sure that you've got good clearances all the way around. Nothing's impacting. And then always, always, always check this. Most modern rifles, you're not going to have a problem, but if you're mounting a scope to an older rifle, you may have an issue with this. The bolt. Make sure that the bolt actually cycles with the scope in the mount. This one does. We're good. So then all you're gonna do is take those rings, throw them up on there. We're not torquing yet. All we're doing is getting rings in position and getting them at least close to having the same gap on the left side and the right side. So at this point, typically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this front ring snugged a little further than the back ring. Making sure that the gaps on both sides are pretty even. And then you're gonna run 2 of these screws down just so that they get snug. So when it stops turning, give it a little 1/8 of a turn You should still be able to move your scope ever so slightly to adjust for level, but it's not going to move a whole lot other than that. Go ahead and grab your levels out. We have a level on the back of the rail, but I like to double check with actual scope mounting levels. Snug that guy up. Now, go ahead and level that gun in the vise according to your bubble level. This takes some finesse. Nobody gets it right the first time. There we are, level. Take your little level right there. So we know the rifle is level, so we're gonna level this optic to the rifle, because at long distances, you're gonna find that if it's not level, you're gonna be off. Your shots will be off, and the further out you get, further away your bullet gets from where you want it to be. Okay, we're level. Now what we can do is snug this front ring down. Left side, right side, left side, right side. That way the scope won't move. Now, go ahead and torque your back ring, and you want to work it in, because if you tighten one side and then tighten the other, you're going to pull that scope off of level. So here I am, just finger tight till everything's pretty snug. Go in a star pattern, don't tighten one side then the other, alternate screws. And then once you're there, go ahead and start torquing. Again, in a star pattern, not one side then the other. And you want to go until you see that bit so that it doesn't move when you tighten. I'm using that torque limiter here. You guys should always have a torque limiter. So we're level there. Now, double check the spacing on our front rings, and we can start torquing on the front ring. There it is. We're level. We're mounted. We're torqued down. Double check that these guys are torqued. There it is. Scope mounting 101. If you guys have any questions or any concerns, if you're gonna try this at home, don't hesitate to call us. We can typically help you out. You can always bring your stuff in. We will work on it. Try and bring it in before hunting season, because if you bring it in on the first day, typically you're probably not going to have a chance to hunt with your rifle. So, but yeah, we can help you out. If you've got any questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll walk you through it, or we'll help you out.